Good evening, Evan. Hello, Sean. I just seen you pop into the chat there before I went live. So, unfortunate news. It does look like the EU migration pact is going to pass. Let me see. I think that's good there. That's the camera. So it does look like the EU migration pact is going to pass. None of the government TDs are said no, they wouldn't going to vote for it or abstain or anything like that. So the government have the numbers. So what can be done? Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So unfortunately, it's definitely going to pass unless something happens after the vote. It makes any sense, but it does look like it's going to go through at the moment. So it was 79 to 72. So it was 79 to 72. So it was 79 for the government side and 72 against. So that's that. The country is on the lake again. So down the river. Um, so that's that. Been sold out again. Is this camera voting? No, it isn't. Hello, Sean. How are we doing? Unfortunately, the Dáil did pass the EU migration pact. Unfortunately, again, unless it's opposed by the Supreme Court, or I presume the president have to sign off on the two. Presuming so, but we all know he probably just signed the dotted line, and there'd be no really stopping it then. So that's what is going to happen. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But but there's nothing to stop it there on the Dáil, as I say. None of the government TDs are going to say no. And I know it's unconstitutional, but it's been passed, and I don't think there's really anything going to stop it now, unfortunately. I know, but I don't know, because again, President Higgins is just going to sign it. He's never referred a thing to the Supreme Court in his life, so I don't think he's going to start now. Let's put it that way. He's just going to sign the dotted line, and that'll be it. I know it's unconstitutional. The majority of the people in this country know it's unconstitutional. And if it was unconstitutional and stuff like that, like, it is called unconstitutional. But if so, the people involved should have had the final say on it by referendum. But again, the government didn't want to have that after the beating they got in the last referendum. So that's the only reason why, if it would pass, that's the only reason why it should have. But anyway, what do you know? It's the Irish government. What do you expect, I suppose? But yeah, it's a sad day for the country when you see this happening. But I don't know what can really be done now, unfortunately. I don't know. Is the camera white? Because it seems like it's a bit. Well, it's not that bright, I suppose. I might just have to put on the light. Maybe that might be better. Might be a bit better. No, I'd be stupid putting on the light and the blinds open. So yeah, that's that. See, I thought it said in the Dáil records that they were going to be doing it the vote later on. It said around 9 or so. That's why I was talking about 8:30. But it was just before, so they must have just got through it quick enough. Yeah, like all them, the usual crowd that's just basically feeding a farm, feeding a gear. The usual crowd. So that's really it. Like the usual crowds always vote with the government, not the Healy Ways or Michael McNamara or Cal Nolan. None of them voted against it. Like, there's a few TDs missing. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a good few of them missing, like not there. So I don't know what's the story with that. They're absent. No, they didn't. No, they didn't vote for. No, they voted against it. Sorry, did I say voted for? No, they didn't vote for it. No, jeez. No, they didn't do that. No, I was only saying they're the only they vote. I know for 100% they voted against it. It's the usual crowd, the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. They're the people who voted for it. The usual Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael independents, basically. Not even they're not independents. They're just basically Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael things. If that makes any sense. Because I think they know. I don't think Matty McGrath now or Carl Nolan's going to vote for it. And especially them being the biggest opponents. It look very funny now if they turned around and done the opposite. It might cost them a bit of votes, but all right. So, but in fairness to Sinn Féin and people for profit, they actually voted against it. I was actually expecting Sinn Féin to be for it, but they voted against it. In fairness, hello Paddy, how are we doing? Hello Tony, everybody's here. How are we doing? But I suppose it's good that some of the good lot of the opposition was against it too. That's the main thing, I suppose. Because my fear originally was the whole opposition. Because again, there wasn't that much in the difference. 72 to 79. It's only a few votes in the difference. That's about 6 votes. It isn't that much in the difference, basically. But it's a sad day when you see this pass. It's only 6 votes in the difference. So again, if some of the opposition were there, I don't know where some of them were. As I say, there were 6 of them missing. Yeah. What do you want me to say about that? But it's only 6 votes in the difference, so I don't know what if the 6 opposition was a few of them missing. There was 2 Sinn Féin TDs missing. Don't know where they were. They were squarely up gone. Hello, Fiona. I emailed you. Good. It's good that you're able to comment because all the comments comments you commented on a few community posts and stuff like that. They were jumped down the memory hole. So. Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Unfortunately, as I say, the EU Migration Pact was passed. Again, it was only 6 in the difference, so take that as you will. But unfortunately, it's a sad day for Irish democracy. We've seen this pass. It should have went to the people, but alas, here we are. Unfortunately, because at the end of the day, that's the people who should have the last. Yeah, I don't know. As long as you could comment, just try later on if you could, if you don't mind later on, just to see if you can comment on the video, just to see. So the EU Migration Pact, basically EU legislation that basically controls Ireland's borders. We won't have any say in who we take in. We'd be basically dictated to by Brussels what to do and how to do it, and etc. etc. That makes any sense. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There was 10, 11, 12. There was 12 opposition team, 2 from Sinn Féin. Actually, sorry, 1 from Sinn Féin. There's 12 opposition TDs missing wherever they had to. He subscribed. Yeah. Again, apologies. I think Javy just misclicked by mistake, so it's all good. As long as you can comment and stuff, that's I think. But there's 12 opposition TDs missing. So where were they? As I say, this is probably one of the most important votes in a long, long time in Irish history. And the 12 opposition TDs, wherever they were, wherever they fucked off to, they weren't there. There was only 3 government TDs not there, wherever they were. Sorry, there's 4 of them, sorry. So there was a good few of them not there at the same time. But if there was 12 opposition, because again, there's only 6 votes of the difference. So if 6 more opposition TDs were there, the government would have been a bit fucked. Because again, it was 79 to 7. Actually, I said 72, 73. So 79 on the government side and 73 on the opposition side. But we all know the only thing that could have made a difference, and I keep saying this, is if one Fianna Gael TD stood up and said, no, I won't vote with the government, I'll vote against you. And he said, kick me out of your party if you want. But none of them were willing to do it, unfortunately. Well, you take Willie O'Deed and all the big talk recently about the Migration Pact and the hate speech. I'm going to vote against the hate speech. And not a word out of him now. You think he would put his money where his mouth is and voted against it there. Especially, again, Fianna Fáil, such a long fellow that's basically is part of the furniture in Fianna Fáil because he's there that long. You think he would have, because again, if he would have stood up and said no, maybe some other Fianna Fáils would have stood up and said no. I guess, again, they're just too afraid to vote against their party. Like, a lot of them know they're doing wrong and they shouldn't be doing it, but they're just too afraid. And that's just the problem. It's insane that it's passed. But we see what happens about soon. I presume it has to go to the president, and so I presume so. I don't know actually, because every law has to be every kind of thing that's passed, the law has to go and be signed with the president. And we voted in the Offences Against the State Act, which is not much surprise. It's always voted in every 5 years or so. Not every 5 years, every 12 months, sorry, it lasts them. You'd have to take a lot of people there. So I suppose we get started on other things. Again, I thought they would be voting at 9 o'clock. It's in the DAW schedule that it would be around 9 o'clock or so to be voting on. So they voted early on it, just literally before I came out. So I don't know. They're probably hoping that people wouldn't notice. But it's sad when you see that now, because especially because with so many people emailing their TDs, etc., the vote no, mostly Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael TDs, and none of them were willing to take up what the constituents were saying. Because if you ask the majority of people in this country, they would say, we want to say in it. The Irish people want to say in it. And a referendum should have been called again. Yeah, the former Dutch Prime Minister, yeah. Let's see. The head is missing, yeah, on the picture. I know it's awkward enough, but I think that's good enough. As long as you can see me, that's the main thing. I can adjust it a small bit, yeah. Because I'm just trying to get what. Because again, I don't want to put on the light yet because it's too early to put on the light, and unfortunately, the sun isn't out and it's only clouds a bit, so it's not that bright, I suppose. When I was in Finland live streaming, just the sun, it was literally nighttime when I went live that time, and the fucking it's bright as day. It's literally like a flashbang. When you open the curtains in the morning, it's like a flashbang in your face. Like it's that bright, and especially now it's bright, and it's just in Finland, it'd be just insane if I was here now. So where should we start? So I suppose when we were just talking about the EU Migration Pact, but unfortunately, challenges, as you probably know, to the EU Migration Pact, and from this woman, it was independent going in the local elections in Kerry. She put a bid into the High Court to stop. This was yesterday, and it was rejected by the court. To stop it from being voted in the dawn. Unfortunately, the judges didn't agree with it, and we all know the judges and the government are one and the same. They're basically just the same people. They're basically Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael judges. To be totally honest, they're just basically doing the bidding of Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. And then there was another one too by I keep forgetting her name, but she's a barrister, not Tracy O'Mahony, but Una, isn't it? Una McGowan, isn't it? But the judge said in that case she didn't put in the white paperwork, which I don't believe. But I think they were just looking for excuses to try and not having to deal with it, basically. But it is unfortunate. But I presume maybe there could be other challenges before because it obviously takes a while to probably be implemented, etc., etc. Because I presume it has to go to the president. That's what I presume. So it'll take a day or two before that happens, I presume. So there still could be challenges to it, but I presume they're going to push through it regardless of how high water. That's what I think. Hello, Shani. How are we doing? But it's quite unfortunate. You have tea there. Yeah, but to be totally honest, I think there'll be more of a will in the general election to vote out Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael. I think there'll be more of a will because I think the majority of people didn't really care about local authority or didn't care about the European Union elections. They didn't really care because at the end of the day, your councillors particularly, the main thing was really council elections, your local authority elections during that time. And your councillors don't have much power. Because again, I've looked into it all because when I was going to seek to one for the council, etc., etc., you don't have much power, you don't have much power, you don't have much influence to do anything. And the majority of people, be like, why the fuck should I bother going out and voting? And the majority of people are just kind of sick and tired of politics, sick and tired of everything, politics, basically. That's the majority of it. I think people are just tired of it, sick of it. So that's the type of thing. But I say in the general election there'll be a huge change now in the wind, because there'll be more of a oof to try and get something done. To be totally honest, because people are very annoyed, and especially now with this EU migration pact. Because I'm not going to lie to you, if the floodgates wouldn't open before, they're going to be open now, and people are not going to be very happy. Let's put that way. Because again, Ireland would have to take in 70,000, 80,000, whatever the European Union tells us to do. We can't say no, so they could just flood the country with people from Timbuktu, and they'll be all turning up on our shores every day of the week, but maybe 900 or 1,000 a week, maybe. And that's what it really means. Because again, Ireland could not say no. We have no option to. There's no option in the pact, and this is the thing, to say we want to opt out straight away. There's no option. So I don't know how that would ever work if it ever came to volition. But anyway, what I'm trying to say, there'll be a lot more people probably coming. And the European Union will be in control of our borders. They tell us what to do and how to do it, and how much to do and how much to give. And if we don't take them in, they're going to fine us to probably $1 billion or so, maybe a day. Who knows how much? Huge amount of money to house them somewhere else in another country. But we'd be basically fined if we don't take them in. So we're kind of fucked either way, basically, if we didn't. Because again, they will fine you into oblivion. If they wanted to take in, say, 100,000 people every year, and they wanted to pay, I don't know, maybe 30 to 40,000 for each person. Because again, the European Union could just treat us like shit now. Because what can we do? Leave the pact? We have no option really to leave, unfortunately. There's nothing there. Unless we grew a bit of balls. Let's have politicians screw some balls and said, fuck yous. We'll leave the European Union, etc., etc. But they're not going to do that. And they're not going to have a vote to leave the European Union. They're not going to do it here. It's the same with this. It should have been a referendum. If people really, really wanted to, if the government really, really wanted, they should have a referendum to say we want to join this EU migration pact, and see does the public agree? Because to be totally honest, the public would not agree. That's just a simple truth. If the government thought they could win it, they would have done it, but they didn't do it because they know people are not for it. Yeah, but again, when this happens now, you see the floodgates open, and it's the truth, especially now when this hate speech bill, because Simon Howard seems to be obsessed with trying to pass it before the next door, which isn't going to happen. There's that much, it's just dead in the water, the hate speech bill, because there's that much opposition to it from every part of the country. And again, if the floodgates wouldn't open before, and the anger on the streets and the anger in the public wasn't there before, when this hate speech bill passes, it's Armageddon, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. People are not going to put up with it. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm going to say. So they know that's why they haven't done it yet, because they know there's going to be trouble if they do pass it. And so they will. And the shoulder should be, to be totally honest, because it's very draconian. It's up and out of the 1930s, to be totally honest. And if we haven't sold away our country yet, when we pass the hate speech bill, we basically have sold away all that's left of the country. So, take that as you will, but everybody in the country should make it their personal goal. Well, to be told, it should be their personal goal now to destroy Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, the mainstream parties, for passing this EU migration pact. But if to pass and this is what I say to every in the Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael council out of that, and I've said it to 2 or 3 of them, if they pass this hate speech bill, the Irish people make sure Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael will be obliterated within a short period of time, basically, and so they should be, if any party dares to pass this in. No, well, to be totally honest, around here, like in Cavan in particular, I'm just going by what was really said around here, and a lot of people I knew. A lot of people didn't care, because they never seen the councils ever do anything. As one man said, I never seen them doing fuck all, basically. And you never see them, and when you ring them and stuff like that, I do that for you, and then it's never done. So a lot of people just do not care about the councils, and they don't do anything, and they don't. Half of them, as I said about that woman down the town, there was a councillor here for 25 years as a councillor in Cavan, Melody Narkin. And this young woman that has a young daughter, and she's probably in her 20s, 30s. And she literally, Melody Narkin was like, do you not know me? I'm the sitting councillor for 25 years here in Cavan. And your woman was looking at her like she had 5 heads on her. like she didn't know her at all. Like that's what I'm saying. And she's there all her life as an Irish citizen. She didn't even know who the her councillors were. And she said this, right? I never seen you, I never heard of you in my life. And she has a young daughter. And she, again, people don't care. They have lives, they have family, etc., etc. And she's a sitting councillor for 25 years. I knew who, and she knew who. She knows me, etc., etc. But that's just the perfect example, particularly of young people. They don't know who their councillors or anybody is. Yeah, like, but again, a lot of them won't stand up. A lot of them won't stand up. Them two Fianna Fáil councillors in Galway stood up and were counted for. They went as independents. Do you remember? I'm sure people know who I'm talking about in Galway. They stood up and were counted because again, there was trials for Fianna Fáil when they stood up and instead they stood against them. Yeah, they're not going to get re-elected. They can think again, yeah, if they do. Particularly again, if they pass this hate speech legislation, whatever hope of them being a political party after, I'm making my personal objective too, to try and make sure they suffer immensely if they do pass this. And so they should suffer now for passing this EU Migration Pact too. And for every other thing, not to mention every other thing, if we took into account every other thing too, we'd be here all night talking about it. Because it's like, especially this hate speech, it's draconian above anything else. Yeah, that's and the same with the doll. Like none of them, like in Finland, they had, and I keep talking about Finland, but the coalition government, the Swedish party, the True Finns, and the Conservative Party in Finland, there was a motion of no confidence in one of the ministers for the True Finns because he abused a few women back in the day, basically, and that went through. But long story short, one demo, like from the Swedish party, the Swedish Democratic Party, isn't it? But basically, one of them abstained, and one from the Conservative Party abstained. So basically, they got up and walked out when the vote was happening. So they went against their own party, what their party wanted to do. But none of them here are willing to do it. Because to be totally honest, why would you really vote in a minister that abused women? And he's still there as a minister in the True Finns. Because again, the True Finns are great people, just to say. After they seem to be the best of people. They seem every day of the week they're hitting walls. Yeah, I seen that, but that was to do with Simon Harris when he was there in Castlebar. And I seen a bit of a clip with the Mayo newspaper. So they're just basically, they're going by what was said by a Mayo Fine Gael member of, but anyway, just the mainstream media, what they expect. We didn't fact check it. We just went with it. Whatever he said, we took as fact. We could have asked other people. They just, whatever the Fine Gael they put down on the paper as is totally true. And that's just a perfect example, especially because you have the audio clip of the journalist literally saying it. So it's not really hearsay. But a lot of them here, like I've heard, like there's a councillor here in this area, Fianna Fáil councillor, and I've heard him criticise Micheál Martin 100 times over, but he's not willing to stand up. Like Shapey O'Reilly, in fairness to him, Ballygym stuff, he was in Fianna Fáil for years, probably 40 years in Fianna Fáil. And he stood up and left the party because he said he wasn't going to associate with them. But there's a Fianna Fáil councillor in my area here, and he criticised Micheál Martin many times, but he's not willing to stand up and say, I want out of Fianna Fáil. I don't agree with Fianna Fáil nowadays. It's becoming a party that I don't even recognise that when I joined. But the only reason why, because I say he's too afraid. He's too afraid of losing his position. Because he thinks he's going to be a TD one day. And so he does, to be totally honest. In his own mind, he does think he's going to be a TD. The people of Cavan didn't really like him, to be totally honest. He didn't get in that easily in the last local election. He didn't get in that easily. To be totally honest, not much loss. Sadly, that he did get in, but anyway. But long story short, he's too afraid to stand up. And the same with the majority of Fianna Fáil. It's the same with many things that happened in Cavan over the last few years. Fianna Fáil and Fianna Gael, they're too afraid to stand up and be counted. And that's the thing. It's the same everywhere. Just too afraid. You've seen them two councillors, as they say in Galway. They stood up with their community saying they shouldn't have people busting in the middle of the night. And Fianna Fáil particularly ostracised them. They were pushed aside. They were basically enemies of the state to Fianna Fáil, because they dared question Fianna Fáil and stuff like that, and Micheál Martin, etc., etc. Now they're independent. But see, that's what happens. When you criticise your party, you have to toe the party line. And none of them are willing to stand up and say, I'm not willing to do it. And that's the thing. It's all about fear. and about losing your position because they're all afraid of losing the position, etc., etc. But even though, as I said before, and I would say this to any Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael TDs and Green Party TDs, if you want to save your seat, again, if you want to be selfish and stuff like that, the one thing you have to do, if you take it, because in the next election you'll probably be booted out, the one thing you should do is stand up and be counted and stand up and say, no, I won't. And to lose your seat in that party, regardless of what it is, and become an independent, and people will vote you in. The majority of people will say, that's a good man or good woman. He stood up against his own party. He said, no, I won't do it. And it's one simple word, no, but it's a hard thing to say. It is. It's a difficult thing for anybody to say. But not one of them are willing to do it. But again, if one of them here, if any of the Fianna Fáil TDs in my area would have stood up and said no tonight, I'd be commending them. I'd be saying, great, that's great. But they're not. Nobody's willing to do it. That's why I never suit political party, because if I was in the political party, regardless of what party I was in, I couldn't sit there and the majority of people telling me by email and stuff like that to vote against. I couldn't sit there, and not even that, in my own conscience too, that I'm basically handing more control to the European Union of Ireland. I couldn't sit there in good conscience, not even the bribe me and stuff. I couldn't sit there in my conscience and justify that I have to vote again. I couldn't do it. So that's what I would do. I couldn't do it. Because it would weigh on me something fierce. And that's what you need. You need people that are, because again, a lot of these people just do not give a shit. They'll see the money and they just don't care. That's just the thing. But yeah, I suppose we'll talk about other stuff now. So this is interesting from Denmark. Some interesting news from Denmark, which I do think was that before. So Denmark seeks to ban foreign flags, I suppose, from streets. You see them often, particularly in Ireland too. Irish people are afraid to put up an Irish flag in case you offend somebody. Like when I was growing up, there was Irish flags outside courthouses, Garda stations, even fire stations, hospitals, and schools, primary schools, secondary schools. Nowadays, they're too afraid to put them up in case somebody's offended. So I do agree with this because, again, at the end of the day, if you're in Denmark or if you're in Finland or Norway or Sweden or wherever, the one flag that should be up, whatever country flag, take for example Denmark, if they want to put the region's flag, like take for example if it's in Cavan, you put up the Irish flag and the Cavan flag or the local flag, you put them up. You shouldn't have a fucking flag of, take for example, I don't know, Turkey and Cavan, take for example. You shouldn't have that. What really relevance is that to have up in Cavan, take for example? But the flags were allowed Nordic flags of Finland and stuff like that. Because in Helsinki, where I was in Finland and stuff, there was a lot of Nordic flags. Because again, there's close cooperations between the Nordic countries and Finland, of course. So there was loads of Icelandic and Swedish and Norwegian and Danish flags. Because again, there's huge cooperation between the whole Nordic countries. They're all kind of one, the unity, I suppose. And Germany and international flags. So embassies won't be affected, but we should bring in something here, to be totally honest. And I know people, Dáil Éireann wouldn't agree with it. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael will cry, saying we want to have an Irish flag up. The only thing that should be up is an Irish flag or the county's flag, etc., etc. They literally would have a fit if you said this to me, Martin, that we got to have our own flag up above every building in the country. They literally would have a fit and they would vote against it. Like, I'm just thinking they would generally vote against it. And just to say, you probably think this is an extreme right-wing government. It's the social democracy that's proposing this. It's literally the social democrats in Denmark that's proposing this. The left, I suppose, in Denmark proposing it. So to be totally honest, the left in Denmark cares more about the country than the left over here, to be totally honest. But I do agree with this because we are, and again, in Finland, the main thing was too, they wouldn't have afraid to put up the flag, and so they shouldn't be. It's their country. They fought hard to keep their flag up, to keep it soft. Over here, we just, as Michal Martin said, we want nothing to do with the backwards looking idea of sovereignty. They put up the European Union flag quicker than they would put an Irish flag up. But that's, I think we should do something like that here. Is there? No, that was Helen McAtee, I think you're talking about. That was a while ago, I think. But what do you think about this bill that Denmark is proposing? So that won't affect embassies, obviously, but it would affect private houses and stuff like that. You have to either a Danish flag up or a Nordic flag to take, for example. Not like you don't have to take, for example, the flag of I don't know Egypt or something like that. You know, uh, you know. But no, this is more to do with in Finland they had flag like Finnish flags. Have you see it in my video? I've uploaded one video of. There's a lot more to show, but every street basically, and the same with I think try and get the picture. Actually, no, I don't have it with me now, but I might look it up. I might have it in the community post. But in every building, there's nearly a Finnish flag somewhere on it. They're very proud of their country, etc., etc. Oh, you're right. There was a bomb threat made to Simon Coveney's house. Simon Howard, sorry, excuse me. Simon Coveney, Simon Howard, sorry. Well, obviously, people shouldn't be doing that if it is legit stuff like that. Nobody should be harming. If they have a problem with Simon Howard, you take it up with him, not his children or his family. Nobody should be doing that to the innocent children, etc., etc. Yeah, but no, in Denmark they're doing that, so hopefully maybe we might consider doing it. Because again, Fianna Fáil really Gael would oppose it, and probably Sinn Féin too. They would oppose it. Everybody would oppose it. Nobody would be happy with it. Because again, when I was growing up, it was outside courthouses, etc. The Irish flag everywhere. But no, nowadays we're not allowed to do that. But again, as I say, in Finland, I don't think they would take kindly to you saying, I don't agree with if you were somebody from another country in Finland, I don't think they would agree with you coming over and telling them, you're not entitled to put up their own flag in their own country. I don't think they take too kindly to that. They might tell you where to go. I'm sure they would probably tell you where to go. Because again, they're very proud of their country. They're very patriotic. They're more patriotic than would be here. Like again, as I said, they're willing to go out at the moment's notice with a gun and any invaders or anything like that. Yeah, like in Dublin, there's more every other flag but the Irish flag. They get it how to put it up above the GPO now. If they got away with it, they wouldn't put it up. See, as Micheál Martin, we've got nothing to do with the backwards looking at your sovereignty. So we're fully committed to the EU. So the word the EU flag up everywhere. I probably should put on the lights. It is getting a bit darker. Ooh. Put it down the smaller. But that's basically that. So yeah, it's a lot more. We could see the difference, especially with the new lights. Have new lights in the house. It's great to have. I can see myself a bit more clearly. So the unfortunate news too, Ursula von der Leyen looks to be it's going to probably be re-elected. I think it's already happened. EU president, basically, the European Union's president, which is not surprising because basically she sold her soul to try and get everybody to back her as much as possible. Again, evil woman. She's totally answered. Again. I'm not going to say much more, but I'm not saying much more about it, but selected, not elected, exactly, cop caught, but technically, allegedly, of course, maybe, possibly, all these words out on to describe it. Now, another news. This gobshite is going to be in Phil Hogan's role, basically. He's going over for his big fucking job in Brussels, of course. Because to be totally honest, in the next election he might not get in. The same with a lot of them. So he's jumping ship before that comes up. And obviously the new person now in charge of the Department of Finance, Jack Chambers. Like it's a joke. Because to be totally honest, at this stage, there should be a general election because the amount of shuffling and this person won away and that person doing this and that person doing that, like they all just kind of won away. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Jack Chambers sooner or later will be like, "Oh, I'm going for a big job in the European Union," just before the election, coincidentally, you know. Like there's a lot more I could say, but you gobshites dice is by the way. Who Jack Chambers? Yeah, well, he's kind of Fianna Fáil's poster boy, to be totally honest. Yeah. So yeah, this is not surprising. So the biggest in the history of the state, imaginally, 5,000 or a bit over probably. Just to put in respect again, Finland, I keep saying about Finland, but Finland has less than, I think it's under 3,000 or something like that now. So comparing, again, Finland's about the same population as us, nearly. So comparing that to here, it's quite a bit more, and especially because it's insane. And there's no place in the prisons. That's what I'm saying. The prisons are overcrowded in this country. I wonder why. Yeah, like look at this. The number of factors believed to be behind the increase. Like this is bullshit. Sentencing from COVID pandemic. Like they're basically just trying to say, oh, the reason why there's overcrowding because it's the COVID. The COVID. The COVID. It's the COVID. But really, it's people committing crimes, and the crime is on the increase. And Fianna Fáil, softy when it comes to these crimes. And the people that are in prison, this is the worst thing about it. The people that are in prison, the majority of them only don't pay the TV license and set the prison. But if you beat somebody half to death in the street, you get off with it. But it's quite insane when you see this. And it's only going up again. But again, nobody's willing to ask, why is there so many? Why is this all of a sudden the first time in history say we have so many people in prison? What is happening to the Irish society? Nobody's willing to ask these questions. The OT are nowhere to be found. And again, the only thing they would say, oh, it's because of COVID. We couldn't put people to prison because of COVID, etc., etc. We couldn't do it and that and the other. They would use everything under the sun to try and not acknowledge the elephant in the room. There's many elephants in the room due to people just turning up from Timbuktu. And there's obviously Irish people just commit crimes every day of the week and getting off with it and end up in prison, go back and commit a crime outside. Like there's many angles to this you'll cover. But basically it's all just shit. The gift of the gab, a lot of them have the fucking gift of being sent back to the Stone Age. But not surprising there. So we all heard about the poor Greta Thunberg. Yeah, she was arrested and stuff like that. So, so this is down from Parliament. So the police were not very happy because they originally said, and this is the thing I think Greta Thunberg, because she generally probably was really arrested in this circumstance more than anywhere else. Because again, the week I was there was a protest like this, Extinction Rebellion, and the police were just literally seen red basically when this happened because they didn't plan to go down the street when I was there. This is not this one, but the other one, they didn't plan. And they blocked all the tram lines and the roads, etc., etc. You see the tram. They're literally purposely going to cause disruption. Even though, again, this is the thing. Before this protest, they pledged not to block any traffic or trams or anything. And long and behold, this is what happened. So they didn't really... they pledged to do something and then they didn't do it, basically. If it makes any sense. Yeah, like you said, they're not very happy. Blocking streets are unreasonable. Because they didn't let the police know, because Parliament's not here. Parliament's up the street. I think they closed the street going up to Parliament for them. As you see, again, the police in Finland look very militarized. Like, do you think they were soldiers, the Peter answer? Like, they're just the bog standard cops on the street. Like they look very, like they look like the SAS, basically. Like that's the way they are there. Like this is Parliament here. They were way down the street there. They were way down the street. So basically, they were purposely, because again, this is the foot of Parliament, as you see, they're not disrupting anything, but they purposely went and disrupted traffic, etc., etc. So they purposely did it. You know. So that's why. So I don't know where Greta Thunberg get off with. I know she was let out. She was only let out Tuesday night. She didn't get off with it straight away. She was brought to the police station, etc., etc. But there was a lot of like arrests and stuff like that. Because again, as I say, you can see the traffic here just backed up. It wasn't planned by the police, etc. See all the trams. There's about 50 of them lined up here. See all the trams just blocked. Because again, the police weren't told they were going to go down the street and sit in the middle of the street, etc., etc. So you see the issue here, basically. Especially because again, they're pledged not to do it again. Poor Greta is upset. Jeez, that's extremely bad. Yeah, Biden loves his ice cream. Well, to be told again, you wouldn't want to be in Finland if Joe Biden was in Finland. God help him. As I say, in only 99 in Finland. Guess what? It was 580, yeah. For two, so that was 12. And then there was another time too. I meant to say, I went and got three. I bought 3 ice creams, so it was how much was it? It was 5 something, so it was 5. Yeah, so 16 something. I bought 3 ice creams because two of the Social Democrats. So something about vandalism. Yeah. So there's been a bit of vandalism about the fuckers. But nothing too serious, anyways. Yeah, because I bought them for there's 2 people with me from the Social Democrats that time. And I bought them ice cream. So it was 3 times I bought ice cream. And there was nothing on them, just to say. They just had a plain ice cream. And that was it. So imagine if you got syrup and stuff on it. Probably an extra euro or 2 for syrup, etc., etc. It's insane. Like, it's quite insane. You wouldn't want to be in Helsinki, you know. I've been making it. You've been making it. You've been on the cheap stuff. But no, it's quite insane now. And then the price of a pint is 10 to 11 something. In some area, actually, in one area, I think it was 15. I didn't have a pint, but in one area, it's 15 or something like that. In Oslo, in Norway, it's about 35 or something like that. It's a lot of sugar. But yeah, no, you wouldn't want to be in Finland buying much ice cream anyway. That's all I say. Because it could add up. Let's put that way. Because I did spend a good bit, as I say, 3, 15, 20, 25, 30. About 35 euro just on 3 ice creams. Yeah, but in Oslo, you wouldn't want to go to Oslo, as I say, because it's about 25 euro. Yeah. In Norwegian kronas, in euro, if you convert it to Norwegian kronas to euro. The good thing about Finland, again, this is the good thing the European Union should be. And again, I say this: the European Union should be about you have a common travel, you can travel freely, etc., etc. within the European Union as European Union citizens. That was the original idea of the European Union, and it had a common currency. But again, the European Union now is turned into a dictatorship when you're told what to do and how to do it, and etc., etc. And that's not. It's salad, yeah, big salad. Okay. And that's what it should be about. But again, it's turned into a dictatorship. Because that was the original goals of the European Union, common trade area, etc., etc. But nowadays, the European Union tells you how to follow the job, what to do, and how to do it. It's not what we originally we signed up for, basically. Let's put it that way. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I really think it could have been cheaper to go to Copenhagen that time. Because again, I should have probably went that time. But see, I wanted to go to Helsinki first. Because at that time I knew, I didn't tell you, but I knew I was going. Because I obviously had a book that Sanna Mountain was Prime Minister. That's a long, long time ago. So I knew in a long time in advance that was going, and I was told about her going to Copenhagen for the Democratic, and I was offered tickets too to go to it, and I was told in plenty of time, basically, if that makes any sense. So I could have went off to Copenhagen, etc., etc. Which I probably should have, but like she's supposed to be at the Oslo. I should have probably went to Oslo this year too, in September. But see, in September in Norway and Scandinavia, it's not the nicest time to be around Scandinavia in the winter, you know, because the winter is the winter, it's not that warm. Let's put that way, I don't fancy a negative minus 10 degrees or 20 degrees in Oslo in September. I don't fancy it. Even though it would be a lot more colder in Finland. It's a lot more colder in Finland. Yeah. I don't think I don't know how big Copenhagen is, but it's but the thing that would throw me off, and this is the thing I like when I went to Finland, it's in euro and stuff like that. If I went to Denmark, if it's no Danish krones, and I'd be confused, that would kind of throw me off. If that makes any sense. Yeah, like no Oslo and Copenhagen, Denmark is all them countries are basically deal. Finland is deal, as I said. It was 8 to 9,500 for me to go for the week. Well, it was 8,000 to get. No, what I'm confusing myself. Yeah, so it was 7,000. It was basically if you add it all up, I think it was nearly 9,000 or something. Yeah, so it was about that. If you add it all up, if you add the flights, you add the hotel, you add up the spending money, etc., etc. Because I spent a good bit on museums and stuff like to go into them and etc. And I paid for the other people who was with me too. And then they just even get bits of food and stuff like that. It all adds up. It was quite a lot of money again. I don't know how much it would have been going to go. It would have been funny, but to go and add it all up because it would have been probably got a lot of money. Hello, John. It's good to see you. It's been a while since we've talked to you. You've seen one of my videos in the comments. How are you keeping? Yeah. But I don't really have much reason to go to Denmark. I had a reason back then. I actually had a reason, which I was considering going, because I was told, and I had plenty of time, I had 3 or 4 weeks to organise it, because I was told by a member of the Social Democratic Party that she was going to be there, etc., etc. And the fellow that I was talking to, and the fellow I know from the Social Democratic Party, he was going to it too. So so I probably should have went because it actually would have given me an excuse to go to Denmark. Because basically it gave me because long story short, just to say, only for I was invited to go for Helsinki Day. They gave me the excuse to go basically because I was invited and I couldn't really turn it down. After being invited to go, etc., etc. Now they did offer me different things and stuff like that. I was offered different discounts, I suppose you call them, but I didn't take obviously. But it was offered different things. So, but I rather pay my way basically than look for. Not really. I rather pay myself than look for charity. If that makes any sense. You're a good taxi driver. That's good to hear about, John. We can get you anytime. You can bring me to Finland sometime. But no, I wouldn't really have any reason to go because again, the thing about it is, I'd rather just pay in euro because it was good to know. Like, and sometimes I was in Helsinki too, because some people could speak broken English. They could speak some words, but you can always understand this euro because it's in euro. You understand what they were saying. And so if I went to Norway, take for example, or Denmark, Norwegian kroner is in Norway and in Denmark Danish kroner, so you would have to try and understand. And not even that, they don't speak. 99.9% of people in Finland speak English, along with Finnish and Swedish. Not that many in Norway and Denmark speak English and stuff. They speak Danish, and they don't really speak English. Some people do, of course, but in the hotels and stuff, but not in the only day-to-day life speak it. In England, in Finland, they do, because everybody could speak it, apart from one person I came across could speak it. So it would have been a lot more difficult to take, for example, in Denmark and Norway. Um, but even when I was going, because I generally did talk, but I mentioned it when I went past the day just afterward. But yeah, so I would have probably got a place beside the place where I was supposed to be. But I wouldn't have had much time because it would have been only 3 days. I would have been there for the 2 days of the conference, the Democratic conference. And then I would have spent the day just traveling around Copenhagen and stuff like that. But I didn't, because again, it was a bit too much to go to Denmark and then go to Finland, etc., etc. Not I wanted to go to Finland first, and then if I was going to go to Denmark, if that makes sense. But basically, I have to have an excuse to go. Basically, if that makes any sense. I have to justify it that I'm going, basically, because I had an excuse to go to Helsinki. If that makes any sense. But I don't fancy, because I was offered tickets to go to the Oslo Business Conference in September, and that's where Sanna would have been. I was offered them. In fairness, I was offered them because they are people I know are going to the Oslo Business Conference. But I don't fancy the winter in the Scandinavian countries. I don't fancy that, if you don't understand. Minus 20 degrees or more than that. Because again, Helsinki during the winter could be minus 30 degrees. So, I don't technically fancy that, because originally the plan was to say Independence Day on the 6th of December, but I don't fancy minus 30 degrees and basically just snow, about 50 feet of snow everywhere. I don't think I fancy that, because as an Irish person, you're not used to that kind of cold now. Because Finland's more colder than Denmark, and we obviously know it can be more. It's more colder than Denmark, of course, too. But Finland's the most northerly capital in the world, basically. It's the closest to the North Pole, etc., etc. That's what I think it is, and the most northerly capital, yeah. And maybe it's Reykjavik. It could be Reykjavik in Iceland and Helsinki. So, Holly Collins says Santa's fun. I'm sure. I don't think poor Santa would listen to Holly Collins by that way. I think poor Santa would ignore Holly Collins, to be totally honest. Yeah, you would find it in Finland. You generally would find it. Not even to mention just about 50 feet of snow everywhere. Because it can be quite bad now in the winter. Was bad, yeah, no, but you have to remember you're literally in the Nordics. You're basically half of Finland's in the North Pole, like Poland's in the middle, kind of in the middle of Europe. When you go up, the weather gets better, It could be weather effect. I don't know. I'll find this out actually. But I think it's Finland. I think it is how the. I heard that somewhere. Maybe I'm just doting. So maybe it's either one of the two. Let's put it that way, because Reykjavik is up there. Oh, it is Reykjavik. Yeah, I stand corrected. But where did I hear that before? I started, yeah. So it's Reykjavik and then it's Helsinki. Yeah, I was thinking that too because, yeah, that was the first time I ever was on a plane too when I went to Finland. But but it would have been interesting. I probably should have went in September. It would have been funny to turn up in Oslo, in the Oslo fjord. Yeah, but no, Scotland isn't as far as Finland, Norway, and Sweden. Because again, they have to go more further up. Iceland is on their level. Especially because Finland is probably the coldest out of everything. Any Russians will tell you the wedding in 1939. They will tell you about how bad it was. Yeah, it must be. Yeah, that must be where I'm going to. Shetlands, yeah, they would be cold enough places too. But generally, we don't have that bad of winters. Like, it's not minus 30 degrees. Because that's what they're getting as minus 30 to 20 and worse than that at some stage. At one stage in some part of Finland was minus nearly 50 degrees during the winter. Like up in Lapland, somewhere up there, way up in Lapland. Like, I don't think you and I could survive that minus 50 degrees. You know, because you have to remember half Finland is in the North Pole. Um, that's why a lot of people too, a lot of asylum seekers don't probably go to Finland because it's far too cold. Because a lot of them are coming from warm countries. Albania is kind of warm, the same as Italy. There, they would have the same climate, and a lot of asylum seekers want to come to Ireland, which is not that bad a climate compared to going to Finland where it's snowed, and it's only bright for about 4 hours a day in Finland during the winter, from about September to March or so. It's only bright for 4 hours. Imagine that 4 hours a day, and it's literally pitch black for the majority of the day. Like, it's just total darkness basically with winter and ice and snow. Like, it's very miserable for a lot of that long basically. It'd be very bad. Yeah, oh yeah, when it's minus 20, yeah, it's only minus 20. Like, the kids, they don't give a shit. Like, people in Finland just don't give a shit about the snow. Like, it's just a normal thing for them. They just don't care. The only time they do care, because I seen it myself when I was over there, because at one stage it was 25 degrees, it was 25 positive degrees in Finland, and people in Finland are not built for the heat. It's about that straight away. Like, we like, it was 20 degrees at one stage, and people were dying. It's how it called it, like, warm, and they're not used to the heat. Because again, the majority of the year it's total darkness and snow and ice, and literally fucking ice cold. I think it's actually a bit more, but I think it's minus 30 or 25. I think that's what it is. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. I holding someone myself before. Yeah, like, we're just basically the weighing sheet. We're basically just to get weighing here. Which, again, let's be fair. But in Finland, things just keep going. They don't pass much of marks on the snow. And things just keep going because everything's built to cope. Like, all the trams, etc., are built to cope. All the public services are built to cope. There's underground heating on some of the streets to melt the snow in the winter. In some of the streets around the main city centre. Like, there's underground stuff to heat up the pathway to melt the snow and ice. They're well adapted. If it came here, we wouldn't be able to deal with it if that was the temperatures here. But over there, they're well accustomed to it. They just don't care. But I don't fancy going over to Norway in September. Let's put it that way. I don't fancy it, to be honest. Not to mention too, what was it? Going to another Scandinavian country and paying another maybe 78,000, maybe 10,000. The bank might be broke. Let's put it that way. Because one after the other, it'd be a lot. Considering the Oslo Business Conference is for 3 or 4 days, so it would have to be then. And obviously, for me to look around and stuff like that and do things, go to take for example, what they call the fort. Oscaborg, the Oscaborg fort where the Brooklyn was sunk. The German battleship that was trying to invade the Oslo fjord during the Second World War in 1940. The King's speeches about it, there's a film made about it, etc. It would be interesting to go into there, but I don't fancy another 8,000 or 7,000 euro to spend that. I don't fancy, not yet anyway. Yeah, but there's enough of that. There's more of that. But no, I wouldn't fancy it because the cold. It's just bitter cold. It's like if you watch any video of people going there in the winter, like, you literally will get frostbite in a second if you have any part of your body unexposed because it's just that cold. I've literally seen people online with their eyebrows frozen. They couldn't move their eyes; they were frozen, and the whole beards were frozen, etc. So I've been out for only 5 minutes. it can be quite bad. So I wouldn't recommend. That's why nobody goes there in the winter. And that's why probably a lot of asylum seekers don't go to, particularly Finland. Finland's the coldest out of the whole lot of them. So nobody really wants to go to a huge, like, would you live in a country, take for example, like it's nice enough in the summer, but when you get to September, August, the days get dark. Like I say, it's midnight sun at the moment in Finland. It's bright for nearly around the clock, only for 2 or 3 hours. It's not bright. But basically then in the winter, it's a long, long, dark winter with only 4 hours of brightness. And the rest of it's literally just pitch black, with tons of snow, hundreds of feet of snow, and just ice everywhere. Like a lot of people couldn't deal with it. It was especially for, that's why not many people emigrate there, because it's, unless you grew up in it, unless you grew up there, you'd be used to it. But now, if I went over now in the morning and say lived in Helsinki or somewhere in Finland, it'd take a lot of getting used to it. It's even the time, like even the change in time, 2 hours ahead of Ireland. It was a big change, for me to get used to the time now here, because I'm always taking 2 hours ahead. Yeah, but I don't know about sleeping better in the frozen conditions now. Say Petersburg, yeah. Well, good luck in getting there. I don't think you get there from Europe. You would probably put on some watch list if you went there now, I suppose. Because as I say, Tucker Carlson that time, we're going to put him on watch list to be, because I don't think any European Union citizen can go to Russia. Not that I would be interested in going, I wouldn't be that interested in going. Not to mention that it might be a certain Finnish sniper sniping me if I go back to Finland. I wouldn't want that. Yeah, pretty much that's what it is. But Finland is a lot more colder, as you would see during the winter war. Take, for example, the Russians wouldn't used to go because it's a lot more colder actually than only Siberia probably can match the Finland. Because during the winter war, you have to remember it was minus 40 conditions, nearly 50 conditions. It was pretty cold during the winter war and stuff like that. It's just folds. But this came out today. So Finland, as I said about Helsinki, there's not one homeless person I've seen. And I was literally in every district of Finland in Helsinki. I'll show you now in a second the map. I will literally went everywhere. So when I've seen this for myself, and I've seen one of these small apartments. So they give people that are homeless or on the verge of being homeless, they give them a nice apartment where they don't have to pay any money, basically. No, pay nothing. Just to get them off the street, because they won't accept this. As I said, they won't accept somebody being on the street. They won't allow people to be on the street. They won't allow people to degrade the streets like that, because there's people just want to stay on the streets and beg for money. They won't allow it. It's not like whatever. They won't allow it. They simply won't. Because I didn't see it over there. And I said the police will literally lift you straight away if you do that. So that's what they do. They give them small apartments. So there's like a bedroom, a kitchen and stuff. I've seen one for myself. And there's little conservatory and stuff like that. They can tell you what, basically. And they have to pay nothing and they try and get them. Basically, what they do after that is really, really clever compared to what we do here. Say, for example, they're on drugs or they're on alcohol, a problem with alcohol. They try and get them into counseling. So first of all, they get them into a house, which is what they take, and I suppose is what I've been saying. Like the basic of anybody is you get them somewhere to live. You get them somewhere out of the cold, out of the darkness, out of being on the street. You give them the foundations. You build the foundations first. What I mean by that, give them somewhere to live, and then you tackle their other problems if they're on drugs and things like that. And 4 out of 5 people that this scheme, because it's again called the House and Forced Initiative. 4 out of 5 people make it back to a stable life, and there's people that I've heard about when I was over there too. They were in the down and outs, etc., etc. They had no hope. They had not a penny to their name, and now they have very good jobs. They went to university. They have big jobs. There was somebody that was on the streets who were telling me during the 90s, and now he's a big developer. in Finland. So we went from literally having nothing to being a big, huge housing developer, building houses. So you can be really anything, basically. So it is, and if Helsinki can do it, and again, Helsinki has less people than now in Dublin. If they can do it, then we can do it. I suppose, and that's the truth. We can do it. There's only something like 2,000 or something like that. Technically, people homeless in Helsinki. What I mean by technically is they're in shelters, etc. So they're not on the street. So they're on the verge of ending homelessness, and it's the only European city, I think, in Europe at the moment that homelessness is going down instead of going up. So, that's it's pretty impressive, and especially when you see, and again, I was talking to some civil servants, etc., etc. You can see the difference, and I talk about it in the video. You can see the difference in the civil service, particularly. I was very interested in, and the councils, etc., etc. It's not about the money. They don't care about the money. They don't care about how much they get paid. Over here, they care about how much they're getting paid, the civil servants. They care about the money. Over there, it seems to be more they care about people more than they do about getting paid at the end of the week. Because over here, the civil servants just care about whenever the paycheck goes in. That's all they care about. It's the same in the local councils here and stuff like that. They don't care about people. They just care about the paycheck. Over there, it seems to be more the genuine care about people. And you see this, and again, this is what Ireland should be like this at the moment, what I'm trying to say. Because there should be all the money that's been pumped into it, wherever that goes, I don't know. Because you can actually see in Finland where the money is going to. You can actually see that it's making a difference. Over here, it keeps going up and up and up and up. And there's nothing ever done about it. That's the thing. So, and especially because, again, you can see, if you've seen what I've seen, you can see that something's being done, that the money's going to good use. There's actually people that actually give a shit. That's what I'm trying to say. There's actually people that actually give a shit, and that's what surprised me. That are in civil service, they're actually in the civil service at local councils, you would call them here, and they actually care. They actually care about people. They don't care about the money they're getting at the end of the week. They care about the people they represent, etc., etc. But it's good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's people in the emergency accommodation, etc., etc. But I seen it on the Connaught Street. I walked on the Connaught Street before I left, and I seen people on the GPO arches. I seen people on the Connaught Street Bridge. I seen people on Grafton Street. Like, the whole Dublin's basically full of homeless. Some of them could have been fake beggars, But what I'm trying to say, compared to Helsinki, I literally was around every breath of it, and not one on the side of the street, not one to be found anywhere. And I wouldn't mind, but I actively was looking for it too when I was actively around. And as this one person said to me, the police wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't allow it in the city for tourists to come over because it's very bad luck for Dublin. I was ashamed. Let's put it this way. I'd be ashamed to bring over one of them from the Social Democrats here to show them around. But I'd be ashamed to bring them around to show them this is our capital city. This is what we represent. We just leave our citizens to die on the street. I'd be totally ashamed of that. And they would probably drop dead with the shock of seeing that we treat our people like this. They would drop probably dead because over there, they care for people. And stuff like that. Over here, we just fuck them on the street and don't care about them, and that's just the thing. And then we give everybody from Timbuktu housing. They'd be shocked to see it. So I wouldn't dare, and I wouldn't bring them over here anyway because they could be probably fucking killed on the streets. That's just the thing. And that's just the straight up fact. You've seen about the Canadian tourist. I showed up in a second. But he had his nose. He's fighting for his life at the moment in hospital. Again, people coming over here for tourists, putting money into the economy, coming to see Ireland, and they end up in hospital. So it's not the best luck for the country. Let's put it that way. But no, they do a good thing. I seen one of the apartments myself. Like it's good. It's a good system. It does work. It generally does work. The same with people who go to prison. 9 out of 10 people that go to the prisons in Finland for small offences like the shoplifting and into that, they come out a changed person, basically. They never commit crime again. So it's a good system. Over here, it's just they go to prison, they come out to do the same thing and go back. It's just a constant repeat. So it's a quite different society, but they have mastered a lot of stuff compared to this country. But again, as I keep saying, for years, all the time Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael saying we will end homelessness, we will end it, we're putting billions into it and all that, and there's nothing to show for it. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. You can actually see that they actually done something, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. Especially because, again, you walk around Helsinki, you will find nobody to be found. In Dublin, you only have to go a few minutes and you see loads of people just lying on the streets. Not even to mention going around the Dáil there at the moment with all the tents. And there was no such thing as that in any of the parks in Helsinki. No such thing as any tents or asylum seekers on the side of quays or anything. No such thing as that. Because again, they look for passports, they look for their identity. They don't bring them in unless they have somewhere to put them, which is sensible. It's sensible stuff compared to over here. Was just the sense has gone out of the window. But yeah, it was a Romanian national too. But but none of that's happening in Helsinki. Not one person I found on the street compared to Dublin. It's a huge change compared to Dublin. Because to be totally honest, I was afraid to walk, and I said this before, but I was afraid to walk down O'Connell Street. As an Irish citizen, I'm afraid to walk down it now. When I was there, I was terrified to walk down, to be totally honest. I wasn't anywhere terrified in Helsinki. I felt more safe in Helsinki than I did, because the feeling, again, I go by feeling when I go down the streets, etc., etc. Like, you can feel it in your gut. I could feel it in my gut that it's not safe. You don't have that good vibe. It felt very hostile, kind of. And that's what I felt like. And same when I was going down some of the side streets in Dublin too. I didn't feel safe before I went to the airport. And I was happy to leave, to be totally honest. Because I wouldn't go anywhere near it now, to be totally honest. I wouldn't volunteer or go up to Dublin now, to be totally honest. And it's a sad thing to say, and I don't want to have to say it, but it's the truth. It is generally the truth. But that's what I'm saying. But no, but I'm just saying, as I say, Fianna Fáil Fine Gael have a lot to add to because, because again, this is what a first world country should be, no homelessness, etc., etc. That's what it should be. You have housing for people, etc. So nobody's saying people have the means to survive and stuff like that. That's what the first world country should be. Over here, we're like a fucking third world country. But I just thought I'd show you that because at this stage, with all the people that are in, like they would call it an emergency accommodation, but actually not emergency accommodation. You actually see it. Like it's a nice wee apartment and stuff like that. It's not perfect now, but it's better than nothing. Over here, you get nothing basically. If I was homeless in the morning, the government would tell you, "Fuck you. Here's an Airbnb, or a hotel." That's what they do here in Cavan for anybody that's homeless. They get you a hotel room, which was one room and a small bathroom for maybe a few children. Like there's one person that has 3 children, and she has to fit it into one bedroom. It's insane. Like, and this is this country. We have nowhere to put people. But it's something we could learn from. But again, this country, they don't care about learning anything. No, but it is I can't get over the difference at it because I was expecting to find some people, but there's literally nobody to be found homeless in the streets. Because if you went to Dublin for 5 minutes, you see about 20 people. Because I seen when I was there, I was only there for 30 minutes in the city centre. I must have seen about 30 to 40 people. Like, some of them foreign nationals, some of them Irish people. A few of them probably want drugs. To be totally honest. But that's why it's important, because over here they're too busy worrying about, and this is the problem with homelessness too in this country, that they're too busy worrying about getting them off drugs while they're sleeping on the street, and drink. And in Finland they get them a house first, they get them a property so they can live, and then they worry about it. So, because again, and I think I agree with the assessment, what they said, they need the bare minimum, and what that means, they need the house first, they need the roof over their head. And they need something sustainable. I know that's a World Economic Forum term, etc., etc. But it is true. Like the basic needs you need is somewhere you can sleep and somewhere you can have a bit of privacy. So a house. Like trying to get somebody off drugs when they're on the street and keep them on the street. Eventually they're going to go back to drugs, if they don't get somewhere. So at least, when you give them something to start off a house, everything else kind of falls into place because they have stability in their life, I suppose. That's what I'm trying to say. Which again, the war, we're here, right? We're here, though, way over here. As I said, they want to end homelessness by 2027, which is very soon. Again, there's nobody nearly homeless, technically, in Finland, to be totally honest. Nowhere in Finland, there's nobody homeless, which is a good, like, not many countries can say that. And that's the way it should be here, but again, it never will happen, unfortunately. Because mainly too, the problem is here is the civil service too. They don't give a shit. They just want their money at the end of the day, and they don't care. And that's just the thing. They just don't give a shit over here. Over there, you can see they actually care because you can see the infrastructure. You can see what they have achieved. You can actually see it with your own eyes. Over here, we hear figures on OT. Oh, the government are doing great. But when you look around, it doesn't materialize. That's what I'm trying to say. OT is saying the government are doing everything they can. Simon House is moving heaven and earth to get social housing for everybody in the country. Comrade Micheál Martin has said everybody has to have a house. And this is what you hear on OT. But then when you look around, they're in fantasy land, they're in Lapland, because it's not a reality. But you can actually see with your own eyes over there compared to in Dublin. And that's only in the city side. I wouldn't want to go around the outskirts, etc., and then up to Merrion Square where the asylum seekers are. Like, it's insane. Again, I could go on for hours and hours and hours because it really was a huge shock, and especially for any Irish person, would probably be a huge shock to see that. Yeah, it's a decent foundation. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a good society. It's a good foundation in society. And as I say, and I think trust and transparency, not so much now with the true Finns, etc., power. They're the probably if they stay in power for much longer, that whole homelessness figure will probably go up because it just seemed intent to just destroy everything in front of them. Because again, the really thing that nearly pissed me off the most too in Finland too when I was there is in Ireland has one of the highest rates of people with autism, people with special needs, the highest unemployment in the European Union for people with special needs, etc., because they get it hard to find work, etc. Over in Finland, they had a program, like a scheme kind of thing you would call it over here. In Finland, the true Finns, and again, it wasn't that much a year. It was about $1 million or so a year, which sounds a lot, but it wasn't that much to get people into employment with special needs so they can feel like they can contribute to society. And the true Finns come along and, we're going to cut, time to cut. They cut that scheme and it helped thousands of people get jobs, people with special needs, and they just cut it. Didn't give a shit. Just cut it. Good night, Gordon. Thank you for being here. But that's what I'm saying. The true Finns are the biggest obstacle, really. And the same with the government that's there at the moment is the biggest obstacle to Finland's success, to be totally honest, at the moment. Because it's just totally unnecessary. €1 million or so is not going to break the bank. And especially because it's actually achieved something. As I say, there's no such thing nearly as that. There's employability in the Department of Social Protection here. That's kind of a side thing from the Department of Social Protection. But the majority of people who have special needs here in this country can't get a job, etc., and it's never addressed. And again, it's a huge amount of unemployment and people with disabilities, people with special needs, not disabilities, especially with special needs, dyslexia, autism, other issues, and they can't get jobs. And there's nothing to help them. They're just stay in the door the rest of their life, and it's not right, to be totally honest. And especially for people who have special needs and stuff, they want to feel like they contribute and they're taking part and engaging. And again, especially for that, and somebody that has dyslexia and has a bit of autism, and you see that I've heard stories too of success over the schemes like that. Thing that got people into work, got people with special needs to work, and it was there for the last 40 years in Finland, and it achieved a lot of stuff good in Finland. And again, they're just time to cut, time to cut, as the true Finns would say. Some true Finns, but anyway, I can go on rambling. But what I'm trying to say is we should have something like that here too, of course. But again, it's been yeeted out the window in Finland. But again, they're the biggest obstacle. Again, if the true Finns stay in power for much longer, the homeless figures are going to skyrocket in Finland. That's all I'm going to say, because they just seem intent to blow up everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can compare that to as I say, Finland technically, again, there's nobody on the streets. That's what I'm saying. They're not allowed to be on the streets. They're put into apartments. Technically, in the people that's in them apartments, because that's what they're going by. It's something like 2,000 in the whole country of Finland. In the whole country of Finland, it's 2,000 something. Not even near enough, not even 2,000. But compare that to here. And about not too many. Finland has a bit more people, but not by much. But compare that to Ireland. You have to wonder, that's what I'm trying to say. Because it is eye-open when you see it in reality. I know I keep going on, but we generally could, if we wanted to cop on a bit. But again, this country doesn't know how to fucking cop on. Because it actually is achieving stuff. It generally is achieving stuff. I wouldn't be saying it if I didn't see it. I have looked at now. They actually are achieving things. Like, it's not just talk. It's actually, they're actually doing something, And it's not even that too. They're not kind of going around blabbing about it, basically. You're not hearing on OT News or the Finnish government saying, we're doing this and doing that. Like, they're very quiet about it. People in Finland don't boast about it. You don't hear it on the news that much. Oh, we're doing this. Like every day in the news, he's like the government Fianna Fáil Fine Gael moving heaven and earth to make sure everybody's given a house and doing this and that, But nothing could be further than the truth. But I just want to show you a map first of all of Helsinki, not the full map, like a map. So this is the main city centre. Like here's the main city. This is the harbour, the Presidential Palace, the Helsinki Cathedral's there, the Uspensky Cathedral's there. So this is basically the main city. And I was here. My hotel was there. So long story short, I was on this island. I was on this up here. This is the Social Democratic headquarters here. I was over this area. There's other islands over this side. I don't know if you can see. This is the main city there. The other islands are there and there and there. So basically, I was in every part of the city. I was up here, way up. The airport's way, way up here. I was down here, the Docklands, dock area. Around here, around the park. So you see so much greenery too. There's so much greenery too. This is where the wheel and the cinema and stuff was there, and the naval ships, the boats, etc., etc. Sumanlina is down here. Basically, I was on every corner of Helsinki. I was in the west, all up here is all residential areas, apartments and stuff like that. I was all up there. I was in the back end of nowhere, way up this direction, way, way up there. I was on another island, which is not this island, but the island over there. Literally residential area, nothing really to be seen. Just to look around, basically, because I was curious just to see what was happening. Basically, no one to be found sleeping rough anywhere. No tents to be found anywhere. And again, not just even in the city, in the outskirts in the middle of nowhere. It was literally very clean, very well looked after. It's really impressive. Let's put it that way. But no, what I was going to say. But the one thing you'll notice probably here, you see all the greenery. This is all the public parks. You see all the greenery too, small. There's more public parks in Helsinki everywhere. In the main city and outskirts and everything. You see all the greenery, you see all the bits of greenery everywhere. Like every street nearly has a small public park, public facilities, etc., etc. Like it was insane to see the amount of public toilets from a place that doesn't have public toilets in Cavan. People are crying for them. Like there's public toilets everywhere. There's public toilets in every park. And they're all well maintained. Now, in some of the parks, you have to pay €1 to go in, but they all are well maintained, well cleaned, etc., etc. And that's what they should be. Parliament is there, just to say. This is Mannerheim there, where you see the protest, the main street in the city. Parliament is there. Central train stations there. This is what they are, the train tracks. So yeah, I know a good bit about the map and stuff like that. The Irish embassy is about here. The fire museum I was there was about there too. The central library too is just across from the Parliament there. This is the zoo over here. I wasn't at the zoo, but I'd seen it from the distance. I was over here. I wasn't on this part because that's the zoo. I will probably go back to it at some stage, the zoo. But I was there. I walked beside it on the other side of it. But yeah. There's a lot more I could describe. I will make videos talking different things. But I basically was very impressed. That's what it's straight. I'm generally very impressed. And I wouldn't be saying that I generally wasn't impressed, because I presume if I went to London or something, I wouldn't be very impressed. Because everybody, there's so many people with knives and stuff that I wouldn't be impressed. Yeah, there's a huge amount of coastline. But it is on the sea, it's on the Baltic Sea, the Gulf of Finland. Not like this is all the districts. Helsinki is here. This is Sumanlina. This is Sumanlina, the island fortress. So again, I was nearly in all this. This is the airport up here. The airport's here. I walked around a bit of the areas around the airport too. I was out in the outskirts. I was over here too, at the very edge of Helsinki, on this big island. Stuff like that. I was basically all over. It wasn't at these two small islands, but there's not much on them. But it was on Sumanlina. But there was hardly there's any homeless people on islands that only have a few houses on it. But yeah, I was on this island, then the other island, this island. So it's basically in every part of Helsinki you could have been. Again, these are the main areas, the main part of the city there. These are just the outskirts. But the outskirts are well looked after. All the parks are well looked after. There's no litter or no anything like that. Like all the streets are immaculate. Like they were clean as could be. It's insane to see how clean them. Compared to when I was in Dublin, loads of needles down back alleys, etc., etc. Not the most impressive thing. What did I say earlier on? I was going to show you something. I can't remember now. Does anybody remember? I know I rambled on for probably now. But unfortunately, back home in Cavan, we're not doing too good. Fucking pig, I hate this. I hate this yoke. Irish Independent, I hate you. So the Irish basically litters over, you could call it, came out. So Cavan's not doing too well. It's in 23rd place around the country. Monaghan is doing better. Monaghan is in 2nd place. Would you believe people from Monaghan is actually beating us? Monaghan in Monaghan. Imagine that. Monaghan town is actually beating us. It's insane. And it's not good enough. And the reason why it's not good enough, and I do say it, and it's not to blame the councilmen that are there at the moment, and people on schemes and stuff like that, not to blame them. It's the councillors, etc. It's the TDs. There should be more money. And nowadays, we want people to do things, we want tidy towns groups to do things for nothing and not give them any money, etc. We want people to do volunteer. Basically, the tidy towns and stuff like councils nowadays, they're doing the work for the councils. What they should be doing, and every Cavan should be doing. Years ago, we used to have 500 men walking on the roads, doing different things, cleaning up. Around the town, they used to have a town council. They used to have loads of men employed. I remember when I was younger. We've probably seen about maybe there might have been 20 men walking around the town. Now there's only 2 men around the town. When they're gone, there's nobody to replace them because they won't replace them. So the thing is, there's not enough councilmen, and that's why we're going down. Because what we're relying on is volunteers to do it voluntary. And it isn't fair. It's all right for the community to do bits and bobs now and again, every once a week or every once a month, do a community cleanup, of course, if they want to do it. But we shouldn't be asking them to do it every day of the week as a county, nearly as the county council themselves. Because at the end of the day, people pay their taxes to all that to be done. And just to go back to, I keep saying about Finland, but in Helsinki, I couldn't get over it. As somebody that works and has a job cleaning up and stuff, I generally couldn't get over it. Like every street, and I mean literally every street, even on I could not believe it. There was councilmen cleaning up, sweeping up, doing different things. I could not believe it. And not even that. Majority of the councilmen here in Ireland, in Cavan, are all middle-aged people. They're all middle-aged people. They're not young people. There was even women in the county council, young women in the county council, just to say young women in the county council. It's insane. It's quite insane. Not that I've seen, not many there, no. It was more Orthodox and Presbyterian Protestant. There's there's nothing really like that. Like there's no big mosque. I see no big mosque in Helsinki. Nowhere to be found. I see none of them because there's hardly anybody. Because again, you have to remember, 95% of Finland compared to here, it's all Finns. Everybody I nearly met in the street were Finnish people. Majority, the only people that were kind of not from Finland that live there are taxi drivers. They're the only people that are foreign nationals, really. Because 95% of the country is Finns. Because, not many foreigners will want to move to Finland and be asked for your ID, etc. Because it is a tough country to get into if you're seeking asylum. They're going to ask for every ID you have. And not even that, as a tourist, it's a hard country to get into too. So not many people want to go there when they be asked questions. And not even that too. A lot of them wouldn't come from, because again, a lot of these people from Africa and stuff like that are coming from warm countries. They wouldn't be used to extreme cold like that. Like majority here, things like that. That's just the thing. Well, Ireland's full of, there were so many Turkish, but like when I was up in Dublin too, Aaron, I could not explain to you how many in the city centre, how many phone repair shops, Turkish barbers, this, that, There's no, it's all just every other shop but an Irish shop, basically. There's Turkish barbers, there's this thing, there's that thing, there's phone repair shops. There's more of that than there's anything else. You find it hard to find anything else. Phone repair shops every 5 minutes. Turkish barbers, kebab shops. Like, is this even Ireland? It's insane. Everywhere, literally everywhere. And in Helsinki, the majority of things, not many other stuff. There's majority of things you find in Helsinki is cafes. You find the odd, like there wasn't many, like the Irish places didn't sell Irish food, only sell Irish drinks. So there wasn't many stuff. Yeah, it's the cavan too. There's a lot of just not so much Turkish barbers and stuff, but mainly foreign food, etc., etc. Mainly that here in Cavan, not that much like kebab shops and stuff. But I was shocked to see that too. And it's very noticeable. Then when you go over to Helsinki, there's cafes. Majority of cafes and restaurants are Finnish restaurants, cafes. Because again, there's not that much immigration in Finland. Because why would you move to a country that's half the year is very cold, and not even that, you'd be looked for every document under the sun. Because again, they're very strict when it comes to people coming in. Because again, would you believe Finland, a country that's close to the Ukraine, and that is really pro-Ukraine, really in a way, only has taken in 50,000 Ukrainians. We have taken in probably over 200,000. Just to put it in perspective, just to say that's even Finland's close to Ukraine, and it's very pro-Ukraine, etc., etc. It's only taken about 50,000. It's quite insane when you see that. Because again, they're looking for who they are before they let them in. Over here, they just let in. That's what happens. Because you can tell by just literally the numbers. But whoever's going in, they know who they are. Yeah, and mainly it was kebab shops and Turkish barbers, and there was other places too. But I'm sure if you walk around Dublin City Centre, anybody walks around it, I feel sorry for you if you walk around Dublin City Centre, but you would see it. But I have to say, and I will make a video talk about it, I'm ashamed of Dublin, to be totally honest. I'm ashamed to call that city my capital city. I'm ashamed of it. And again, I wouldn't bring one person from Finland over here to show them, nice clean city at Helsinki, no homelessness. I wouldn't bring them. Not even that. You could be fucking killed on the street for minding your own fucking business. You could be murdered on the street. I wouldn't bring them here to go back and say it in Helsinki that we let our country go to shit. Basically, I would not do that because a lot of people from Finland wouldn't come here if they knew that kind of carry on that's happening here. I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't really recommend any tourists to come to Dublin, to be totally honest. Go to any other part of the country, but don't go to Dublin. It's the biggest kip I've seen and I hate to say it, but this is literally just a kip. There's nothing really nice about Dublin. All the charm of Dublin's just gone to shit. Not even that, you don't feel safe. On a public, this was during the day I walked on the Connaught Street. I didn't feel safe. And it's an Irish citizen too. I didn't feel safe going on the street. Again, probably if people would have knew, again, just to say I had a couple of €1,000 in my bag because I was on the way to Dublin Airport. If people would have knew that, I would have been probably slaughtered, on the street, just to say that. So they're lucky they didn't know I had a couple of €1,000 because there was a lot of money had to be power pocket, which was insane to kind of walk around on your own in the city centre with a couple of €1,000 because they would probably kill you for €5 on a couple of €1,000 in your pocket. Because again, I was on the way to the airport to go to Finland at the time, and they said to stop in the city centre. I regretted that, but anyway. But obviously, I would have been defending myself if anybody to come up. But again, it would have been a group of 6 or 7 men, and you couldn't beat 6 or 7 men. And 1 on 7, you couldn't do it. That's what happened to a young lad on the Dublin bus, take example. A group, a load of young men came up. And, there's no hope over 6 or 7 of them beating you up at once. Who can defend themselves from the 6 against 1? And again, one person could have a knife, and that's the end of it. That's Ireland nowadays. Unfortunately. That's the country our grandfathers and grandmothers died for. Like England's, I wouldn't go to London now. I might get killed. Canada. But it's a huge culture shock when you go from Dublin and look around another capital city that actually seems to care for people when the true Finns are there at the moment. I don't know about that. But apart from that, as I said before, social democracy kind of suits Finland more than extreme right government, if that makes any sense. People will get a Howard shock when they come over here in 2020. I'm just going to say that. They're going to get a Howard shock. It'd be a Howard shock. That's why I wouldn't bring one of them over from Finland. Because it'd be a shock if they came over here. And it wouldn't be good to go back and tell people in Helsinki and people in Finland this is the state of Ireland. I don't want that because it probably would be in the newspaper, and I don't want that. Yeah, true. Like mostly Americans. Like I couldn't tell you the amount of Americans I heard on the corner street talking about. Oh my God, it's Ireland. And this that. Oh my grandfather, this that. Is from here and all that. Just Americans being obnoxious. Like you wouldn't. Like I don't know why you're there. You know what I'm saying? Because as an Irish person, I didn't even feel safe in it. So I would say to them, you should go down to the countryside. You'd be a bit more safer there, and so you probably would. Even though the countryside's nearly getting as dangerous as the city, but generally you wouldn't be probably nearly killed. You could be safe enough. Like generally, I can walk down Cavan town without being killed. Basically. Yeah, we're not going near Birmingham. I don't have any intention of going there. It might not be the nicest place to go to, But yeah, so a tourist. This is what happens when a tourist comes to Dublin. A Canadian tourist left fighting for his life. As he says, a Romanian that did it. I take. Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. He comes on a nice tour to Dublin, taking to see the Irish culture, etc., etc. See a few historical buildings, etc., etc. Have a nice time because again, it must have cost them a few thousand, like maybe 2,000 or 3,000 to come to Ireland and have a hotel room, the odd bit to eat, etc. So he paid money now in our country to see our country, to experience Irish culture, etc. And this is what happens, in the hospital, fighting for his life. It's not acceptable. And because to put it in perspective, there's nothing like this in Helsinki. Let's say, for example, there's nothing like a British tourist sped up in Helsinki and killed, or an Irish person sped up in Helsinki and murdered. No, there's nothing like that. There's nothing saying it because everything was safe. I felt safe walking it. I was literally in the park at 5 o'clock in the morning at one stage in Helsinki, and I felt totally safe. Nobody would annoy you or upset you or attack you. I can't say I can't say the same if I was in the Phoenix Park or I was in St. James's Green. I couldn't say the same. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. I couldn't say the same, to be totally honest, to put it in perspective. Oh no, there's still a lot. There is still a lot of tourists. I've seen but a lot of Americans, just a ton of Americans. I don't know why they're here, but fair enough. Yeah, no, it's a disgrace for it's a disgrace for city, Dublin, to be totally honest. But I wouldn't be speaking so highly of Helsinki because comparing that, because again, I looked around Dublin for 30 minutes before I left to go to Helsinki. If I didn't look around and stuff like that, I didn't compare it one to the other. You have a very quite different society, But no, it was kind of a good shot. Like that, you could probably tell I'm very impressed by it. I am genuinely very impressed. And in fairness, there wasn't a right-wing government. The only time it's ever been a right-wing government now in Finland is now, and they're not doing too well, to be totally honest. But before for a long time it's been the social democracy kind of. And it's done well. I will admit that it has done well. Not so much here, because over here it'll just fucking blow up. If we done that here, everything just blow up. Because it's already blowing up. So. The Irish government. Did anybody? Yeah, just to say, I uploaded the first kind of part of the what they call it, the Finland vlog. Now there's many there's a huge amount more footage and stuff, and they will be put up. But just to say, please, if you get a chance later on, please take a look at that. if you can. Oh, the 15-minute cities, yeah. I don't know, maybe not so much. I don't know, because the government kind of watch the move one at the moment, especially because it's insane the amount of people going from Cavan to Dublin to walk. It's quite insane. Oh, the missions, yeah, I know, but not yet. Because again, it's quite insane the amount of people going up. Because when I was going up to Dublin too, there's so many cows coming down from Dublin, going back to Cavan from walk, etc. etc. It's insane. Yeah, well, kind of trapping, I suppose, in a way too, but not necessarily yet. Maybe in the future, but not at the moment. Especially in Dublin Airport, I can't tell you the amount of people that was in the airport going to here, there, and everywhere. There was one flight going to Spain, Ryanair flight. I was at the airport, Dublin Airport, and I couldn't tell you the amount of people that was waiting to go to Spain, etc., on the plane. It's fucking insane. There must have been 3 or 4 thousand going to Spain on a few planes there, just in them few minutes I was there. Like, it's insane the amount of people going to Spain. And there wasn't that many going to Finland, to be totally honest. There was only, it was about 300-seater plane, Finnair plane I went on. Out of the 300 seats, there probably was only 150 on the plane, just to say. That's all there was there. Nobody's really going to Finland. Because it's far too expensive for people. The only Joe would not go pay thousands, you know. Oh, we're totally honest, they just kind of come in anyway, to be totally honest. The government probably just fly them in anyway, even though there's airports and stuff like that. They probably would just bring them on special VIP boats, you know. Yeah, but the Green Party, you're going to get some shock in the next election. That's one thing, Gavin, because you've seen already the last half of the council seats. So we're gunning for the Green Party. The Green Party are finished. You get it? Finished. They're finished. I welcome the Dáil and the Shadow have approved Ireland's EU migration pact. This is the best way forward for Ireland. I'm sure it is, Helen McPhee. Thank you for your chat. The Dáil has approved my pact. Nobody seems to agree with what we done in the comments. So I don't know about you welcoming it. I don't welcome it. Everybody's saying this is fucking bullshit, which I would not contest. Yeah, but this country's just a joke. That's why I just keep saying great country, because what else can you really say about this banana republic that we call Ireland? I don't even think the banana republics are this bad. We want nothing to do with the backwards looking at you, sovereignty. We want nothing to do. So yeah, anything else? I went on for a long time. I probably shouldn't have went on, but I keep going on and on and on. But yeah, just to say, the next part of the Finland Helsinki video will come up next week, hopefully. No, nobody abstained. Nobody abstained on the vote. There was a lot of them not there, but who voted? What they call the Ways voted against the EU Migration Pact. Yeah, Martin McGrath voted against it. Cal Nolan, Michael Collins, the Rural Independents all voted against it. It was the usual Fine Gael TDs, Dennis Naughton and stuff like that. Who wasn't there? I actually don't know who wasn't there. I know there was 12 of them of the opposition that wasn't there. I don't know who they were, but I don't think Mary Lou McDonald was there, actually. Mary Lou McDonald's seats. I'll show you now. I don't know. It doesn't say any names. Give me a second and I'll find out. I think Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there, because her seats. I have to look now. But basically, the rule, like all the rural independence voters that gets, it was just a few of the. Yeah. So here's the thing. Give me a second now. Again, just to put it in perspective, there's a vote of no confidence in one of the true Finns ministers in the Finnish government, and just to say, two of the own government party voted like abstained from that vote. So none of them done that here, unfortunately. So you see here the white dots. This is Sinn Féin, people for profit here, I think, too. Do you see this white dot? That means the person isn't there. Because usually if you abstain, it's a blue dot. You see all this is the government benches, it's the Taoiseach Tánaiste stuff. M and Ryan, etc. is the government. So there's a few of them not there, the white dots, there's a few government TDs not there, but there's more opposition. So I don't know what all these dots are, but these are I think Brendan Smith and Eve Smith are there, and there's three independents. What do you call them? The ones that are usually there. So I don't know who these other ones are. I know this is Mary Lou McDonald. This is because this is the opposition. This is the main opposition. So I think Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there. That's what I think. I know that probably for a fact. I think it must be Mary Lou because all the rest of them were there. All the Sinn Féin and the rest were there. So I don't know what the rest of them. But these are all opposition. These are the government. And they're the government there. Like Eve Smith and Brendan Smith are there. And I think these are three independents. Or so-called independents. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and the Skies. Don't actually know. I can't remember off the top of my head now. But definitely Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there. 15 didn't vote. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It would have been more close, but you think they would have been there. I think Mary Lou McDonald, that's Mary Lou McDonald's seat anyway. So I don't know where she was. I can try and find out now, but I think it was Mary Lou. Maybe I'm wrong, but it doesn't seem like she's there. No, there's a good. Yeah, it could be Mary Lou McDonald. It looks like Mary Lou McDonald's seat. Might be wrong, but I don't know. Okay, we have a full list now. Somebody's done a full list. Yeah, he's done well. You mentioned George Soros yesterday in the Dáil. A name you should mention in the Dáil, but he did it anyway. So it very well. So here's Tar. So people who voted for it. So this is Neil. This is the Tar. Yeah. So this is just the Tar. This is the thing. So the Neil, as you see, people for profit, Richard Boyd Barrett. In fairness, they did vote against the Holly Collins voted against the Social Democrats. But see, because it doesn't benefit asylum seekers, it doesn't benefit them too. So. What they call that's an independent. Barrick, isn't he the former member of the Irish Defence Forces? Yeah, isn't he not the former member of the Irish Defence Forces? Yeah, Barry Cattle. He's an independent, a so-called independent. Where is the other fellow? There's another two independents. I can't remember their names. The other fellow I couldn't remember the other night. Dennis Naughton. There you are. No, that's Hildegard Naughton. Sorry, Hildegard Naughton. Dennis Naughton, the independent, so-called independent, former Fine Gael. He voted for the government. Sorry, Hildegard Naughton. I'm mistaking you for Dennis Naughton. So hate speech bill coming in. I can't remember the other end. There's another independent. But these are voted for it. So all the government basically voted, along with three independents, basically. So it's Dennis Naughton, that fucker. And then Barry Cowan, the fellow who used the Irish Ranger wing of the Defence Force. I can't remember the other fellow. There's another independent. Specifically, but I presume is Dennis Naughton. We all knew about Dennis Naughton. I could have told you that Dennis Naughton was going to vote for the government because they don't do anything else. They just vote with the government. I can't remember where is. I wonder was Mary Lou McDonald there. What to find that out because I don't want to be misleading people. Yeah, there was another. I can't remember the other independent, but you probably know. But it wasn't a. Noah Grealish. Who is he again? Is he Sinn Féin or? He probably voted with the government. I can't remember specifically. I know all the TD's names, but I can't remember them specifically. Who? Noah Grealish. Independent. No, I don't think he did. I can't see his name here. Noah Grealish. No, I can't see it. I don't know. No, not that I know. I know. No, I don't think he did. No, I don't think so. I could be wrong now. Don't quote me. I'm trying to find something else to try and see. Can I? Because there was things I've seen it there a few minutes ago. Yeah, oh yeah. I try and get the full list of who voted against it. That's the ones who voted against. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Give me a second. I'm trying to find it now. I wouldn't mind, but I seen it there about 5 minutes ago. What do you call your woman? If I had a brain, I'd be dangerous. Yeah, so we definitely knew about Dennis Naughton. Anyway, nobody could have. If I put a bet on it, we could have made a bit of money, but we all knew it. Where in the name of fuck? Trying to find the list who voted together. It was all Sinn Féin and maybe Marilyn McDonald wasn't there. I don't know. Now, don't quote me. She could have been there. Maybe she wasn't. But I know all the other Sinn Féin voted against it. I will try and be honest. The majority of the time, anyway, Tony. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to find out. I'm actively actually looking for that as we speak. But there's nothing really there at the moment. I can't find it. Like I know Holly Collins has said Holly Collins voted against it. So Social Democrats voted against it. And people before profit because Richard Boyd Bauer was there and all that. So we know that. I'm just trying to figure out the independents specifically. But I know the Healy Rays because they're on that side and Carol Nolan and Michael Collins and stuff. I don't know about the other ones. I can't remember. There's a few others. They're all the opposite. They're over here at the very corner. The Healy Rays, Danny Healy, Michael Healy Ray, and Matty. Well, I don't think Matty McGrath would be too fond of the thing, so I don't foresee him. He didn't vote to get forward. I'm actually actively trying to find it now at the moment. Geez, there must be hiding it. I might be just being dumb. I think I'm just being stupid. Does anybody know of a list of who voted no? Just to check. I know. Does anybody know of a list? Because I don't. I can't see here. It's bold. Yeah. Yeah, I think she is on too. Was she not on earlier on too, or maybe I'm smoking. I could maybe it was last night. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I can't remember. There's that many people I subscribe to and who are in my feed and stuff like that. It's just insane. If this is I'm getting the list for this list over and over again. I'm not getting the list for who. So if Anna Batchik voted no, the Labour Party. So all the Labour must have voted no. Whoever was there. So if Anna Batchik was there. Richard Boyd Bauer, John Brady, Martin Brown, Pat Buckley, Holly Collins. That's what I have at the moment. That's what's on the record here. I don't know about the West. What's fucking wrong? Toshe algorithm. Pigley. Well, I'm trying to find who voted against it. Like it must have been Everybody else. So I don't know who the other TD was. Like the other independent was. There was Dennis Naughton Cowboy. And whatever. I don't know who the fellow that sits beside Cowboy. I can't think of who he is now. Just trying to figure that one out. I don't know who was there, but I think Marilyn McDonald wasn't there. Does anybody know that? Was anybody watching? I was watching it, but I wasn't generally looking at who was there. I was more worried about it, was it going to pass or not. But there was a lot of them not there too. Would you think they would have been there? So I don't know where they were, but it looks like Marilyn McDonald wasn't there. Because see give me a second now. So we know who voted for it. Oh, yeah. I'm just trying to figure it out myself. I wouldn't mind, but I should have probably been paying attention to who was there and who wasn't there. Piggy. Yeah, here. Yeah, so I was right in saying it. I know I'm making such a big deal, but I'm just trying to specifically find this out. So this is, as you can see here, this is the government bench. As you can see, me, Hal Martin there, Simon Harris is there, Hilda Gardnockton, Leo Frank is there. The head of Humphreys now, this government. Shits is the opposition, there's Patrick Trubin of into. Do you see these benches here? These two are empty. You can see Ivana Patrick there and the Labour Party. There's another seat empty there. See here, it appears Saturday. Usually Mary McDonald sitting there, so she wasn't there. And there's another seat up here. There's another independent, whoever that was. Oh, do you know who the other fellow pie was that voted for it? Oh, no, I have to check it out. I don't know. It was probably Michael Fitzmaurice, was it? Because there was another seat over here beside the cowboy. So Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there. She was the only Sinn Féin TD that wasn't there. Because you can see her seat, she's not there. Yeah, you can see your seat empty there. That's I'm fucking doting. Like Matthew McGowan them are there, Carl Nolan's there, Michael Collins is there, Richard Donoghue is there. Like there's a seat empty there, and we need to find out who that seat was because it's an independent. Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there, so we know that. So whoever the other TDs wasn't there, I can't specifically remember now. So I was right in saying that McDonald wasn't there, so she wasn't there. So yeah, I'm happy that was it, Michael Mull, but I don't know who. I can't think of who else was it. Like I can't remember who it is. I don't think it was Michael Smalls, but it could be wrong. See, that's what I'm trying to figure out. So if I'm wrong, but I was right in saying Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there. So it's confirmed now, fact checked, confirmed. Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there. For whatever reason, where was Mary Lou McDonald? Where is Mary Lou? You know. So I don't know. So that's true. So Mary Lou, I don't know who else is the rest of them, I wonder. I don't know. See, I'm just trying to remember. I've looked at the dog many times. I'm just trying to remember who's sitting where. Like I know, like we 100% know Mary Lou McDonald wasn't there. That's 100% confirmed. So she was the only Sinn Féin TD not there. So all the rest of Sinn Féin were there. So we know that. The Labour Party seemed to be there, like a lot of them. Social Democrats. There's only Patrick Trubin, only one of them. So at least we know he was there and he voted against. I don't know who the Fianna Fáil and Fianna Gael was there. My local TDs were there. The two Fianna Fáil ones. The head of Humphreys was there. The two Sinn Féin. So all the Cavan and Monaghan TDs were there. I don't know. I'm trying to work my brain. But I don't know what. Oh, you're still going, Tony. No bother. I'll talk to you later. I don't know what's worse. People not being there and people voting. I don't know what's worse. If you don't answer. But generally, all the opposition should have been there. The whole lot of them should have been there. Like if Sinn Féin ever wants to get their votes, that's the time they should have been there. Well, to be totally honest, the only person that wasn't there was Mary Lou McDonald. So, you know. Oh, um. Oh, Niall Kelly. I remember that name. It's been a while since I've seen you. How are you doing? How are you keeping? The bypass today? Well, not today. No. When was it? Probably what day is today? Monday or so. You probably maybe if you were around Monday, you probably could have seen me. Not today. No, not around today. But how are you keeping? Been a while since it must be a few months. It must be 5 months anyway since the last time. We're just talking a lot of politics today. So, um, is there a seating arrangement for Dáil Éireann? Simply though, I know they have designated seats and stuff like that. Just trying to figure out. I can't remember exactly. Seating plan, yeah. Oh, I have. Oh, this is Shannon Ewan. Who cares about Shannon Ewan? I've Shannon Ewan seating plan. I don't know why. I don't know what that one. Oh, wait, we have the doll seating plan. What do they make of it? Genuinely, I'm happy that Brendan Fay got in. Like in Cavan, the usual kind of carry on, like the usual Fianna Fáil Fianna Fáil. But apart from that, it was a good win for the independents. So I was happy that because again, if I was running in this area, I would have been. I'm happy that independents done very well. Basically, let's put that way. So that was really the main takeout for me. That independents done well because a lot of independents got in around up and down the country. As I say in Cavan, we elected an independent, and obviously Shane P. O'Reilly got back into, which was great. So it's good to see there's two independent councillors in Cavan. Don't think there was one in Ballygym stuff, no. So here's Dáil Éireann seating plan. This is from April. So we have the names here. So we have to try and decipher. So this is Marilyn McDonald B26. Where was things? Sorry, give me that. So this is so obviously Fianna Fáil Fianna all sit here. The Labour Party. So this is Labour Party here. Social Democrats are where? It's the D's in the middle, then the green, the blue are the independent group. What about the bottom? It doesn't show who. Can I move it on here? Oh, I did. That might be a bit better. So this is from April. So maybe they're government TDs actually. I don't know. I'm a bit confused. Like, I know what these are. But I presume one of these are independents or something. Let's figure that out. Sorry if everything's. I'll try and figure this out now. We have to decipher this. We're working with the Secret Service. So who is the very top? So let me just give me a second. Yeah, so it might take a bit of deciphering, but we know Marilyn McDonald wasn't there, so at least we can rule that out. It took me trying like fuck now. Sorry, but let's give me a second. So this is what we need to find out. This TD here. We want to find out this because this is rural independence up here. So who was this? Basically. So that's the very top. Fucking piggly. So E45 is the. Maybe there was nobody there. Imagine I'm looking at this now and probably nobody sits in that seat. I can't specifically remember. Oh, and there's nobody there. There's no TD. There's no TD in that seat. Nobody from nobody in E45. There's nobody there. It's the invisible man. It's the invisible man. Never mind. Sorry, I'm being dumb. What is that one? I wonder. That's the second last one. So what is that? An independent and others. So there's one independent not there. So I'm just going by who's not there. A free seat, yeah, free seat. Can I have that seat? So that seat there. So remember these kind of seats. So it's that one, and then there's two others. Just trying to figure it out. So E31. E31. McShowy, he's not there. Wherever he was, who knows where he was? Like, so there's a TD there. He's the independent. He's not. He wasn't there. He was what they call it in Irish, Australia. Australia. What they call it? Absent. We used to say it in school. One there. Who are these two? See, it's how to like they were trying, but so this is another. I know it's one. So skip one, then to this one. Independence E29. Violet Wade, the one that's from Clare, that used to be Sinn Féin. She's not there. Because remember, I'm just looking at the white ones to see who wasn't there. Because then we can by process elimination, but we find it anyway. So that's Violet and so what's the other one? Just to find out. Again, I probably should know all this. So E20, we'll find out E27. So who's E27? Nobody there. Nobody there. Oh, maybe there were maybe E27, nobody there. 25. What's E25? Robert Troy. Yeah, that'd be white. Yeah, Robert Troy. So where is that? So this would be Robert Troy here. No, would it be? Yeah, this one's vacant, this seat. So this is Robert Troy, which is obviously Fianna Fáil, you know that. Yeah, then Brendan Smith, he was the local TDs here. E27. There. Need to just check this out. See, it's how to E25, E24, what's the E22? Maybe I'm just don't know. Patrick goes over. Yeah, he's out squarely. He's gone. He's not there. McSherry wasn't there. He didn't vote. It's hard to maybe I'm joking because apparently there's two missing seats. There's just the invisible man there. That's who's voting. It's the invisible man. So we established that these are Fianna Fáil. So McSherry wasn't there, which is here. McSherry's usually here. But who are these? So it's the first row of the tall here. So it's A12. So inactive. So nobody sits in them seats. I'm surprised nobody sits in them seats. Nobody's there inactive. So maybe that's it. So a few of them weren't there. So we might be wrong. There was less there than I thought there was. I thought there was a lot missing. But so nobody sits there. I'm surprised. I thought there was nobody inactive. So who was C21? No, we need to figure this out. So the third row. See, I'm just trying to decipher this. That's what we're doing. It's like military intelligence here. The third row. So there's one inactive seat there, apparently. Allegedly, of course. So what would that be? So what was it? I'm sorry, again, I'm like a fucking pea brain. So there's this seat here. So C21. So one Labour Party, it seems like. Or maybe this is wrong. Again, this is from April of this year. So I don't know if this is white. Could that be white now? Or maybe, yeah, one of the Labour Party wasn't there. That might be that. C23, isn't it? Smith Duncan. So one of the Labour Party wasn't there, apparently. That's what I'm looking at the moment here. Like, see, like it shows here. That's it there. So he must have been not there. He must be there too. This is like military intelligence. So yeah, so I have to keep going back and back and back. So that's, but then there's two inactive seats there. So what's C? It must be Social Democrats. Yeah, Social Democrats. E20. Jennifer Whitmore. Jennifer Whitmore was Australia. Gone. I could be saying that wrong. Then what about the other two? He's just behind it. So the first seat, second seat, D. So that other one's inactive too. So D25. D25. Yeah, that's who it was. So there's a few Labour Party up there, but who was absent from the government benches? So it must have been only McSherry. I don't know who else voted. So there was two independents we know of so far that voted forward. But who is this one? Just so we know in the government who wasn't there. That one there. I'm just trying to decipher this. So E13. John McGuinness wasn't there. That's on the government side now. So what kind of seats are these now? The government three down, so the fourth seat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So D07. That fucking D07. So Stephen Mannigan wasn't there. Then there's another one. So Stephen Madigan was D7, D5. Joe Casey wasn't it? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the 8th seat. Jesus, this is a lot of tricking about it. That's inactive. So it must be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, maybe not. I might be just doting. No, Fats is Duffy. Maybe. I don't know. It could be one. It could be the inactive seat. It's the invisible man. But I don't know. So it's 2 independents voted against. That's what we seem to know. I know it's a bit laggy, probably that. I don't think I've done any good there explaining it anyway. There we go. Where is Mary Lou? Mary Lou McDonald has gone on holidays. So I'm just looking on the Twitter. Fair to say, people are not pleased in the nicest possible terms. People are not very pleased with this vote. People are not jumping for joy. I thought people would be jumping for joy, saying, "Oh yes, the European Union's taking more control of this country. It already has enough, so why should we give them more?" But nobody's like that, unfortunately. Yeah, everybody's not very happy. Which I totally honestly, I don't blame them. Being sarcastic, I don't blame them. Well, I don't blame the councilmen. Their back is to the wall. So yeah, anything else tonight before we go? I know it's like deciphering the fucking German and Enigma code back in the Second World War. Oh dear. This comment here, I can't show it, but we opted into the immigration. There was no clear public. The public didn't want it. None of the NGOs wanted it. The right didn't want it. The left didn't want it. Even the door was split 79 to 70. It was 73. Sorry. Who is in charge here? That's what I mean to say. That's what this person says. Which is true. Nobody wanted it. None of the left, like Sinn Féin, wasn't jumping up and down for it. The Labour Party wasn't jumping up and down for it. Usually they'd be jumping up and down for everything to do with migration. But none of them, were jumping up and down about it. Traitors. Hmm. Hmm. Democracy. Hmm. Interesting. So yeah, anything else before we go? We'll probably be going now in a few minutes. I didn't plan to actually stay this long, but when you're here now, the emperor is in England. The emperor of Japan is in England. Long live the emperor. Very controversial statement. And that's who we need here. We need an emperor. No, we don't. Um, Very controversial thing to say. That no, nothing else. I don't know. We go and talk to the emperor. But yeah, I think that's it. Do I have anything else? Is there anything else now I need to say? Let me just check. I actually just checked my computer because it might be something else I actually forgot. Just to make sure, because again, I'm fucking kicking myself. I forgot it. Because oftentimes as soon as I turn off the stream, be like, "Oh yes, this," you know. Um, Now the main discussion and everywhere now, and I was Twitter and everything, is just that the immigration backpacks. That's it. Um, Let me see. It does seem to be it. I say that's probably all she wrote. I don't think there's anything else to say. It's unfortunate in the past, but sure, we see what happens. I'm sure there'll be a whole list of talk about the immigration package. But that's about it. Hello, we were just about to go, so I have to say goodbye to you. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. But we're going anyway for tonight, lads. Thank you for watching. I know it's a bit late, so enjoy the rest of the evening. I talk to you probably Saturday, so thank you for watching, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the evening, as I say, and I talk to you again. And again, the other part of House Sicky will be open, would not be open, but it'll be on YouTube next week. Just to say, if you get time, please do watch the first part. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the night.